Good evening, and welcome to the Seneca Scout, where we look at some topics you may not know about while keeping you informed on some breaking news. Our topics tonight span from the smallest of golf balls to the vastness of space.
We begin with an update on North Korea. Fiery talk between the U.S. and North Korea is continuing to heighten tensions between the two countries and their neighbors. After a series of tweets by President Trump, North Korea said the U.S. has declared war, while U.S. government officials claimed that was absurd. South Korea urged a level-headed response, warning that accidental clashes could spiral out of control. On Sunday, U.S. warplanes flew close to the coast of North Korea as a show of force. North Korea foreign minister stated that his country has the right to shoot down U.S. warplanes, even if they are not in North Korean space.
We move now to world news. Massive protests continue to destabilize Venezuela. In April, the Supreme Court announced it would be seizing the opposition-controlled National Assembly. The opposition fears that with the Supreme Court taking over the National Assembly, the government could completely be controlled by President Maduro. Though the court's decision was reversed 3 days later, the fear of a single-body government continues to drive new protests. The opposition is demanding a free election, as well as a removal of the justices that implemented the decision in March. The opposition is also calling for the removal of President Maduro, who claims that the opposition is trying to illegally overthrow him.
On Monday, Australia announced that it is going to expand in its science economy and create its own space agency. Australia currently employs 11,500 people in the space industry and are hoping that this new advancement will employ thousands more. The specifics of what Australia plans to do with the space agency have yet to be announced, but we do know that they will launch their own satellites to track the weather patterns as well as other geographical information. The space agency's charter is scheduled to be fully developed by the end of March 2018, and from there they will begin to put their plans into action. The Australian government has stated that this new addition will bring Australia up to speed with the rest of the world in the exploration to travel through space.
And tonight in national news, Puerto Rico is now facing a humanitarian crisis. About 3.4 million people live in Puerto Rico, and Hurricane Maria has left almost all of them without power and a large portion of them without water or even a home. According to Governor Ricardo Rossello, restoring the power may take several months. This could be a problem for food, as much of their supply will quickly perish. According to Puerto Rico's former Secretary of Agriculture, they may only have 1 month's worth of food on the island. While the main port reopened as of September 26, it's proving very difficult to spread enough supplies across the entire island, especially since many of the islands that it obtains food from were also hit hard by the hurricane.
The Trump administration unveiled new restrictions on travel from the U.S. from 8 U.S. countries, including North Korea, Chad, and Venezuela. The country of Sudan has been removed from the ban due to its cooperation with U.S. officials on security matters. The new restrictions apply to foreign nationals from countries who have refused to share information on terrorism and nations who have not taken precautions on international security matters. The Supreme Court has canceled hearings on the arguments for the new ban set to take place on October 10th, and the case is still pending. The new ban is scheduled to take effect on October 18th.
Despite being recently rescinded, a study done in May by the National Park Service has shown that a bottled water ban in national parks is highly effective. It was revealed that Interior Department officials were aware of the results of this study before they rescinded the ban, and the ban was both environmentally and financially beneficial. This water bottle ban saved over 100,000 pounds of plastic annually, as well as 326 barrels of oil. The ban took place in 2011, and despite the environmental concern from these national parks, along with activists, it was rescinded by the Trump administration last month.
And now let's head on over to Nick for your Raider recap.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Schuster with Seneca Scout Sports Recap. The varsity football team lost 28-20 on Friday the 22nd against Central Catholic. There were 2 big home matchups on Monday. The varsity girls volleyball team fell to West Allegheny by a score of 5-4, and the varsity soccer team fell to Butler by a score of 2-1. This has been your Raider Recap of the Week. I'm Nick Schuster. Now back to the studio.
Thanks for the update, Nick. We'll check back in with you next week. The Pittsburgh Penguins have accepted Donald Trump's invitation to visit the White House following their 2017 Stanley Cup win. This comes just a day after Trump took to Twitter to rescind his invitation to the NBA Golden State Warriors. According to USA Today, the Penguins will attend due to a long-standing tradition and respect for the office of the president, separating political stances from the visit. The Penguins have visited the White House under both President George H.W. Bush's and President Obama's administrations. This is their second Stanley Cup championship win in a row.
Last week, Kennedy Johnson, a Seneca Valley senior, got third place in the Whippeal section qualifiers in golf. Kennedy scored par to move into the Whippeal season, beaten by Lauren Freevogel of Pine Ridgeland with a score of 71 and Natalie Welsh from Mars at 70. Kennedy moves on to the next round as the only Seneca Valley girls golf player in the tournament. Kennedy has stated that she plans to play as best as she can, and that if it can get her a win, that would be amazing. We'll keep you updated on Kennedy's progress as well as the rest of the fall sports.
I'm Megan Smelser.
And I'm James Rickard.
And thank you for tuning into the Seneca Scout. We'll see you next week.